Monday because I just got another text message on my phone from one of the radio stations that said that you sound like you're talking in reverb.
Yeah, I moved my cell phone about 4 foot away. Maybe that was it. Maybe it was interfering with it or something. I don't know.
Maybe it's Area 51.
You know how many times you've had people on talking and weird things have happened? Think about it.
Well, it usually happened when I had the guy, it was with the CIA, and then it happened a lot when I had the guy that used to be with the DOD, and I'm not even going to mention his name. But, I mean, every time I had him on, I had a lot of strange things happen.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I remember that show. My goodness. Now, I got to ask you something. When you were out there at Area 51, the days following that, did you notice anything different, or nobody was following you, or tapping your phones or nothing like that?
No, but I think I found the problem. So if you can talk a little story, I'm going to try to fix this.
Okay. Well, I assure you, I did not mess with my mic. All I did was move my cell phone about 4 foot away. Sometimes it might mess up with it, but anyway, I hope it sounds better. I hope you found the problem. You're the one that's been messing around with stuff. That's on your end, buddy. Not me. I'm innocent. So what else you got for us tonight?
Well, I needed, you said you had a bunch of stories. I was hoping you'd say something while I sit here and try to adjust this.
Okay, I can keep going.
Keep going.
Anyway, the Bob Lazar, he mentioned one thing that kind of got my interest. He mentioned the sports model. He mentioned that a few times, and you know how you mentioned he never changed his story. He's through the years have always mentioned that sports model. And another thing that he talked about, which I thought was kind of intriguing, he mentioned that it took element 115 that's what they use to run the craft. Now, we didn't have element 115. We have element 115 today, but supposedly it's unstable, and they don't know how to make it stabilized. So that's one thing that has come to fruition that he had mentioned years ago. Have you ever heard about that?
I have, and I think my mixer just blew up.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, because it is in the effects. It's just flying every which way. So you need to carry it for about 5 minutes, my friend. You wanted to be a talk show host. You got it for 5 minutes.
All right. Anyway, Bob Lazar, I think he mentioned it. I don't know if he mentioned it in his new documentary or not because I haven't seen it, but I do remember years ago he was mentioning about this one element 115, and we never heard element 115. We're talking 30 years ago. Now, I can't remember the exact year when we do have element 115 now. It's in laboratories, but it's supposedly very unstable. We can't stabilize it. So they say technically, yes, it's an element, but it's useless to us right now. However, if an alien beings are coming here, they're way, way far advanced than us. So who's to say that they don't have this element 115? And with that said, maybe it's good that we don't know how to use element 115 because we would try to use it as a weapon of some sort, I'm sure. And of course, they like to test that stuff, and sometimes they like to test it on soldiers. That's admitted. And anyway, that's what I heard about the element 115, which you mentioned he never changed his story much, and that's one thing he never changed, and I thought was intriguing that 30 years ago we never heard of it, and then now we do have element 115.
Well, yeah, and he was, I everything that Bob Lazar said, like I said, going back from what he said in the 90s on Art Bell's show to what he is saying now hasn't changed at all.
No, it hasn't, and I've listened to his stuff, for 30 years. I remember the first day when that came out, back in '89, I was blown away. I was like, oh, wow. The funny part was, after that was on, I was like, my God, if this was true, and he really worked there, either him by saying, oh, that's going to save his life, or he's really put himself in the frying pan, because, think about it. Look what all he said about a secret base.
Oh, yeah. And, working in it and all that stuff. And he just, like I said, he mentioned what some of the craft looked like. Now, he only worked in one area of the UFOs. But, I think, that the technology, what I can't understand, okay, if we sat there and we got a UFO even back in the 1990s, the technology would have been so much more superior than anything, so much more advanced than what we can do. It would be like if I took you back to like 1860 and handed you a transistor radio and told you, can you make me one of these?
Oh, yeah. Or here's another example. Say take a CD player and put a CD in it which tells you about all our technology of today and how to run the CD player and everything, and put it back to 1860. Well, they would look at like, what is that? And you're only talking 160, 70 years or whatever. So imagine alien beings that are, say, 1,000 years in advance of us or 10,000 years. Like, we wouldn't even know how to begin to reverse engineer that. For one thing, I've heard reports that a lot of those ships, there's no seams, no nothing to them. They're almost, and when you're in them, it's almost like they're run by mind control from the beings. And that alone is so far out of our realm that where do you go with that?
I know. That's the interesting part, it's just like a membrane, a giant membrane. I mean, no seams, no nothing. I'm trying to, have they ever figured out what compound the metal structure, or if it is metal, that these UFOs are made out of? I've never heard anybody talk about that.
I know, and that's another good point. And Jesse Marcel there, he had that metal supposedly took a piece home, and they could fold it up like aluminum foil, and it had like memory abilities to it. It would come right back to where it was. You couldn't bend it, tear it, burn it, or nothing. And so that's mind-boggling to think that, I don't know, maybe lightning struck it and it crashed and broke up, but whatever it is, it's so far advanced that we can't even wrap our minds around, much less try to reverse engineer it.
Well, Bob Lazar, said it was a bunch of ships there. A couple of them in perfect, look like they operating order, and then a couple that were badly damaged, probably where we recovered them somewhere. But I'm just trying to figure out, how did we get these UFOs? How did we secure them with our technology versus their technology?
Right. I know he mentioned there was 9 in that one place, and I think it was a combination of two things. I think we've recovered a few from crashes from all over the place, and I think we could have possibly made some deals with, okay, abduct a few people, do what you got to do, give us one of these ships, and and I think we've tried to make them, and I think some of them is ours and some isn't. Like that triangle, that big black triangle. I think that's ours. I really do. And it does all kind of crazy things.
Oh, yeah. So, your feelings on aliens and UFOs and Roswell, and then we go into, Area 51. What do you think about all this stuff that's going on and disclosure and all this stuff? I mean, I've been really disappointed. I'll be honest with you. I heard from a couple, friends at one point that all this big disclosure was going to happen, but really nothing major has happened, unless I've been in Nebraska somewhere picking corn and I didn't hear it.
You've been in the field too long, buddy. It's funny you mentioned that. I've been listening since 1973 when I was like a little kid about disclosure and stuff's going to come out, and this is like 46 years later. It's like they tease you, but listen, first of all, they're never going to come out with it, because for the government to disclose things fully, that would be saying they were lying and holding things back, and it would also be saying that they're liable for misrepresentation of millions of billions of dollars. So somebody's going to be held accountable for that. So I don't see that happening.
Well, I don't. And you're right about the disclosure. What has really come down? Okay, well, the Navy said that now they will now take reports from pilots, okay, from UFO sightings and all that. Okay, that was disclosure, because they're starting to do this and they're letting the public know that they are. But other than that, tell me, what other major disclosures hit the fan? A couple congressmen and a couple senators, want to, investigate about UFOs, but that's been going off and on since I can remember.
Absolutely. And another thing, they might say they want their pilots to come forward and say those things, but I got to tell you something. Unless you're about to retire from the military and got something already set up for you in the outside world, I still think you're committing Harry Carey there on that. I know they may mean well, the government, and say that, but think about it. I don't know if we're ready for them to commit to that yet.
I don't know. Let's say if you're a captain and you report it, well, maybe if you want to be a lifer, you might stay a captain for a long time before you get promoted. I don't know. That's the point. I don't trust the government when they say, hey, okay, well, go ahead and turn in your reports with UFOs. I don't know. That might be a way to weed people out, too, in the long run. I have no idea.
That's a very good point. I was just going to say that might be a ploy to weed them out and find out who stands where. That's a very good point. And with all the disinformation they put out there anyway, even on these so-called quote-unquote soft disclosures, like the Nimitz showing that film of the Tic Tac and all that stuff, I don't know where they're going to go with this. I don't see them disclosing anything. And I know a lot of people have made a lot of money with books and stuff, but there's no payoff.
Yeah, there has been a lot of people that have made a lot of money on UFO disclosure. They quickly, back about 5-6 months ago, they started writing books fast as they could. But, I have some of these books that's been written, and you know what? I start reading some of these chapters, and I go, gee, that sounds really familiar to something I read, a couple of years ago. I hate to say it. There's a lot of people out there trying to make money because Amazon, you can sit down and write a book in a week. Seriously. And, in a lot of, it seems like some people are just copying and paste other people's books, and then they put their own book out and then, submit it to Amazon. And, as soon as you order it, they print it out and send it out.
You're absolutely right. I can't count how many new books have come out this year talking about, and with disclosure in the title somewhere is just mind-boggling. And you're right. They're pretty much what you just said, copy and paste. But that was a good one. But there's no payoff. Everybody's wanting the meat and potatoes, and all we're getting is a little bit of gravy.
Well, I don't know. How can you sit down, seriously, in a week or two and write a 300-page book and not be crap?
Right. I've got a book I'm going to put out. It's going to be a really good one. And I'm 5 years into research. I couldn't imagine writing it in a week. I mean, because to me, if you don't do the work, the real research of things, not what you read on the internet, because I know if it's on the internet, it's got to be true. That's bull. You got to get out there and do the old-fashioned way and do the research. And for you to put it out in a week, it's not going to have any quality to it. Just not.
Well, and let alone a month or two, especially when you get onto areas like UFOs and disclosure. I mean, I've seen, again, certain people write a book, okay, and then they put all these documents, and it's nothing, how can I say it? It has no, how can I say it? If you took it to court,
no authenticity.
Yeah, that's the perfect word for it. Behind it, okay? It's just like they're grasping at straws. Come on, people. Let's face it, I've said numerous times, UFOs, aliens do exist. If you don't believe that, then, the world is flat and we are living on a memory chip or in the Matrix or something. Because I'm telling you, if you think we're the only humanoids just walking around out here, then you got a problem. And I'm going to say that. Have UFOs been landing on our country and worldwide and stuff? Yes, I really think so. Have they been abducting people? I definitely think that's been going on. Did the crash happen in Roswell? I think so, because it's too much when you go and do the research behind it. Okay, from the farmer and all that stuff at first, or the rancher at first seen, the crash site, all the way down to the military troops going there. Why would they send military troops basically hand to hand, walking in to clear material up from a weather balloon? That don't make any logical sense right there. But they did recently install in that area radars. And that could have been enough to screw up a UFO that was coming, maybe a scout UFO. I don't think that UFO was one. It came from another planet. It probably came from a mothership.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And the farmer was Max Brazel. And here's the thing: he'd been a farmer a long time, and for him to